Welcome our panel today. And Ms. James, you and I recently had a sit-down conversation, and it did include religious liberty. Again, a big concern. I joined my colleagues here as we're all concerned about that. And one of the major pieces of this is that we're worried that this idea in the law that good order and discipline is now becoming an excuse for political correctness. And I think that very quickly tramples the First Amendment rights of certainly our airmen, because it seems that we're seeing this in the Air Force far more than the other services. Now, you heard about the recent incident with a cadet. Well, we have another report. Todd Starnes of Fox News says that 2 weeks ago, it's been reported at Gunter Annex at Maxwell Air Force Base in Alabama, the Gideons came to distribute Bibles to anyone who wished to voluntarily have one. As you may recall, Gideons have been distributing Bibles at military bases since FDR, since World War II. So it's a long-held tradition. They were turned away, and as of this time, 2 weeks later, really this situation has not been resolved. They've not been able to do something they've been able to do for decades now. I'd love to have your reaction.
So I'm not familiar with that one at all. We'll have to get back on those specifics. My overall reaction is this is under the policy, and I apologize if I got a little too wordy about the policy, but it's a balancing act. It's balancing that free expression of religion with the needs of the military and not giving the appearance or an actuality of forcing anything or appearing to force.
Madam Secretary, this has worked well for centuries, since the days of George Washington. We had chaplains. I served in the military. This was not an issue then. It's only been an issue recently. And so things that have been done, traditions that have been long held, where military members have been able to express themselves and their religious beliefs. We have a wide swath in the First Amendment on this. So what's changed is the behavior of the military services, particularly the Air Force, in this. And that's the reason why, we've had religious people long before we had a nation. But what's changed, it appears, is the attitude and the behavior of the military services. General, would you like to respond?
I would love to, Congressman.
Yes.
My wife and I, when we worked at the Air Force Academy in the mid-'80s, and again when we served there as Commandant, we ran the Teens Encounter Christ program, which is a religious retreat program for Catholic and Christian cadets. I know all kinds of people at the Air Force Academy then and now who would disagree with your assessment of there being a problem with religious persecution at the Air Force Academy. I would invite you
General,
to
excuse me for interrupting. Let me just ask you this in response to that. So are you saying that people are more religious and expressing their religious beliefs more now than they did then?
What I'm saying, sir, is that you have to get the facts right on every one of these cases and try and stay unemotional until you know what happened. I would not believe an article for Mr. Starnes, for starters.
So you feel like Mr. Starnes is lying?
Facts.
You feel like Mr. Starnes is lying?
I know there are cases where he has not had his facts right in articles. I'll be happy to explain them to you with him in the room if you like.
I don't have the time for you to go through all that. What I would ask you to do, sir, is to provide written answers and explanations and examples where Mr. Starnes or others have been reporting this inaccurately.
So I'd be happy to come talk to the caucus. I'll be happy to do anything you'd like. And I'll tell you what we've been doing on this area since I got into the job. The single biggest frustration I've had in this job is the perception that somehow there is religious persecution inside the United States Air Force. It is not true. We have incidents like everybody has incidents. We investigate every one of them. We've asked every chaplain in our Air Force if they know of these cases. They say no. I'm telling you, sir, there is a perception here that we are in the middle of a battle between two sets of advocacy groups.
I'm running out of time here. I have spoken with your chaplain, and I think he has some of the same concerns I do, and I would invite you to talk with him. Are you familiar with the FRC's?
Chaplain Stendhal, sir?
Yes.
Oh, okay, sir.
Yes.
Well, I will bring him to sit with you because I don't.
I'd love for you to do that. Are you familiar with the Clear and Present Danger publication by the FRC that discusses this? Many items have been listed there, and Secretary James and I talked about Staff Sergeant Monk, and apparently the Air Force's position has changed with him as well. So again, these problems are getting worse, not better.